Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mick. I'm one of the founders of TechWolf, and I'm joined with Josh.
I'm Josh. I lead our skills-based organization team at Workday.
And so the idea for today is to really explore a few practical use cases of the skill-based organization. How do you make it work in practice? And so we'll structure it as follows. Quick overview on TechWolf, and then we'll deep dive into the partnership between TechWolf and Workday. They've done some phenomenal stuff, and hopefully you can all walk away with a good understanding of what has been done. But first, TechWolf. TechWolf is one of the fastest growing AI companies in the HR tech space. We focus specifically on helping organizations understand the skills and skill gaps of their workforce. We work with some amazing HR tech leaders. Some of the logos are here on screen. We're also the first and only company to receive an investment from Workday, SAP, and ServiceNow. And as we started the company in 2018, back in university, we realized we needed to surround ourselves with the best and the brightest minds in HR tech. And so we have the former head of product of SuccessFactors, the former CTO of IBM, the former CTO of Workday, and many more industry veterans on our board to make sure that we deliver the best products for our customers. So as mentioned, TechWolf really focuses on helping organizations understand the skills and skill gaps of their workforce. And if you break it down, becoming a skill-based organization is really a data problem. It's understanding what are the skills you have in your workforce, what are the skills you need. And so TechWolf built a solution specifically to address those two data problems. But most importantly, we also realized that the true way to solve this is not by building yet another employee-facing application, but by really zooming in on focusing that data problem. And so TechWolf is interfaceless, we're invisible. We really focus on building deep integrations with the existing HR tech stack instead of reinventing the wheel and building yet another employee-facing application. And then with most of our customers, we really focus on getting them to true business outcomes. In most customer conversations, customers tell me, or prospects tell me, hey, our business doesn't even want to talk about skills or the skill-based organization. They just care about the problems they just care about the problems their business has. And so with our customers, we really try and zoom in on the business problem skills and the skill-based organization and the skill-based approach can solve for them. And what we see is that across workforce planning, internal mobility, and skill-based hiring, there's really a massive impact to be had. And we'll zoom in on that impact, specifically on the Workday side. So we partnered together over a year ago. We've done some phenomenal work, and Josh will walk you through some of the things we've done together, and then we'll roll over into a Q&A.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. Again, good afternoon, everybody. So the biggest challenge with skills data isn't getting skills data. It's getting the right skills data to solve the skills-based talent strategy you want to solve. And when we started our partnership, that problem for us was skills-based hiring. We were looking at less than 15% of our job profiles with associated skills. And we knew that we needed really good skills demand data, or the most important skills for the jobs that we have, so then we could post those in the recs, have our recruiters screen for them, have our interviewers interview for them, and hire for them. So you can go on. So, thanks. So to do that, we took a four-step approach with TechWolf. So first, we sourced skills data. So we used Workday's product, Skills Cloud, to source internal skills data, and TechWolf sourced skills data externally from the market. We then surveyed almost 3,000 of our managers at Workday. We would send them a job that they manage with 25 highly relevant skills and ask them to rate on a 1 to 5 scale the skills that are most important to performance in the job. We then gathered that data and that feedback from managers and took that to senior executives and asked them to select the top 10 to 12 most critical skills for the jobs on their teams. And then last, we mapped all of that skills data to the job profiles in Workday. So this is what it looks like for an employee's profile. So the skills and the associated skills definitions are all the common language of Workday's Skills Cloud product. So these are transparent and visible for all workmates to see. You can also see them show up in the job requisition. So when hiring manager goes to open a requisition, they know the exact critical skills that they'll select from to do skills-based hiring. All interviewers at Workday are certified in skills-based hiring through a course in Workday Learning. And then when interviewers assess candidates, they're assessing and providing their feedback on the skills in Workday Recruiting. We've seen some really good results so far. So what started as a pilot with our sales organization last fall went to the entire enterprise. So skills is how we hire at Workday. So far, we're driving a 32% reduction in time to fill, an 11% increase in offer acceptance, and a 23% improvement in candidate experience. So this all means that we are hiring faster. When candidates go through the process, their experience is better, and folks are coming onto Workday's team at a faster pace. So at the end of this, as Mick said, and I think why our partnership works so well is that we're focused on driving real outcomes. The HR outcomes are the first step, but what we're keenly focused on is driving business outcomes, and this has been a really good use case for us.
Awesome. And as you mentioned, the business outcome is really the key point. I think you rolled this out in the sales organization, so every organization would sign instantly for having better sellers in the door faster. This was a recruiting use case. I'm also really curious, and this is a learning conference. How is Workday thinking about applying skills data throughout the employee lifecycle, maybe from a career development point of view?
Yeah, sure. So our very first skills initiative was all around employee development. We had done a survey a few years back, and that survey showed that the people who were leaving Workday were 3 times more dissatisfied with their career growth. And for a company whose number one core value is employees, this was a big red flag for us. And we turned that red flag into a rallying cry. So we implemented a gig program, or short-term assignments, where our workmates can go and develop skills and get experiences on other teams while staying in their current job. Over the last couple of years, over 5,000 workmates have participated in a skills-based gig. Those who do have a 42% higher internal mobility rate and a 33% decrease in attrition in the 12 months following their gig. What's really neat is that our workmates are easily finding these gig opportunities along with learning that is tailor-made for them based on their skills and their skill interests, along with mentors and job opportunities on Workday's talent marketplace, or a product that is called Career Hub, which delivers these AI-driven, personalized recommendations on learning mentors and jobs.
That's awesome. And I really like the simplicity with which Workday approached this problem, because I remember some of the conversations we originally had. And ultimately, you want to give employees role clarity. You want to make sure that every role has skills associated to it. And then ultimately, you want to understand the skills your employees have. And that already gets you such a long way in becoming a skill-based organization. I think we also pioneered the use of AI in HR. At the same time, AI is often seen as a bit of a silver bullet. So where do you think AI can truly make a difference in HR operations in becoming a skill-based organization? And where do you think you still need a human in the loop?
Yeah, within the skills realm, AI is this just powerful accelerant to turn skills data into action. And we use AI in skills data in 3 main ways. So first, there's the curation of skills data. So this looks like raising to the top really highly relevant skills for jobs and for workers. The second is inference, and this is where I think TechWolf has a real differentiator, is these specific AI models that infer skills from a variety of sources. So think about typical HR data, so job descriptions or job requisitions or job information. Think about worker data, like their worker history, but also think about where people are doing their work. So developers and business analysts are doing their work in Jira, and our sales folks and our customer experience workers are doing their work in Salesforce. So inference is a powerful application of AI. And then the third way is matching or recommendations. I mentioned the Talent Marketplace or Career Hub product. And to be able to get personalized recommendations sent to you on learning or on your next job because it's linked to our job board is a game changer. Instead of writing out your development plan or meeting with your manager to do that, they're already coming with a head start into a conversation with their manager saying, here are some things that I've selected based on the recommendations that I've been provided.
That's awesome. Maybe one thing I'd add to that, something we see across our customer base, is in going from data to insight to action, AI can already do a lot of the heavy lifting in essentially interpreting raw and unstructured data. Because in many cases, a skills intelligence or talent intelligence initiative is very new for organizations, and AI can already help bridge the gap between the current capabilities of the HR team, especially around data analysis, and provide meaningful, quick insights there.
Mick, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Off script, I know, but so you all work with so many different organizations. Is there a misconception on what AI can do with skills that you see?
Yes, I think so, and maybe even more broadly, I think there's a misconception on how to properly use AI. The default MO would probably be like, oh, AI can do X for me, but actually you're using AI to do X. And it's a very subtle reframe. You're essentially using it as a maybe 120, 130 soonish sparring partner for knowledge work. But it's not going to take away your work. Like there's still so many things that need to happen before AI can actually completely replace humans or completely replace a task end to end. And it's very similar for any skills initiative. What AI does really well is crawling through a lot of data, structuring it, creating that first proposal, but then you'll need to refine it either way. So in a high-stakes environment, you'd want a very specific assessment. In a lower-stakes environment, like internal mobility or just people trying to better themselves, just a manual check could be enough. But I think, in a way, there's often a bit of a fear around AI, and especially as long as you don't really use it, it's very hard for you to get an intuitive understanding of like how far it can go. This weekend I was experimenting myself with some of the AI code generators, and I can't remember being this blown away. But at the same time, it's very easy to then see, oh, these are the limitations. Like it's great to create a first mock-up, but then as you start doing some iterations, you're like, okay, this is not going to build a new part of the product just like that.
So a tool for a head start, so no more like focus groups or competency mapping for HR professionals.
Exactly.
It's a head start to then use your discretion to pick the right skills.
100%. And also, and I think we see this across our customer base, and this is pretty cool. It used to be like HR needs to go and ask something to the business, and then they come back with a result. Now they can actually be super proactive. Like, hey, we've crunched a bunch of data. This is what we're seeing. What do you think? And it completely changes the nature and the tone of the conversation. It's not, hey, we have this new initiative. Please buy into it. It's like, hey, we've seen this. This is some data. Why don't you join in?
That was a game changer for us. It's kind of like putting the proper responsibilities on the right teams. And we, for so long, have been asking managers and business leaders to be the one to identify the skills or curate the skills, or we go to them in succession planning and ask them, what are the 3 top skills you see that are most important in the next 3 years? We kind of turn that on its head in that process that I described to identify the critical skills for Workday, where we took on the responsibility, leveraging AI, to do the identification and do the curation. And then the managers and our executives, they do what they do best. They give feedback and they make decisions. So I think AI has really helped us to allocate the right responsibilities to the right teams.
That's awesome. I'm going to return your question to you. I think you get the opportunity to talk to a lot of Workday customers. You get the opportunity to talk to a lot of other HR leaders. I think at this point it's not why skills, but how skills. People are really trying to figure out how to do it. I think it's generally accepted that it's a better way to manage talent. But where do you see most organizations getting stuck?
Yeah, that is exactly where we are on the cycle over the past 3 years. From talking about why have this material shift in how you think about work is done to skill-based to, okay, people are largely bought in. How do we get started? The two major obstacles that we hear from customers, one is how do I curate high-quality skills data? And that takes good tools and good practice. The second is where do I get started on the practice side of things? Skills can be really logical. If you know the right skills and you're going to know the right people to hire, how exactly to develop, the right investments in L&D, how to career path people. But that kind of logical nature of the problem can feel overwhelming. And it did for us, for me at the start, and it can for our customers too. So what we really advise customers to do is to start simple. Start small with a very specific problem to solve. Use a pilot to get buy-in and to learn quickly, and then use that momentum to scale, and then on to the next problem. The question that we routinely ask and have from the start is, what is the problem that we think skills can help solve? We know the problems from that our business leaders have. They share that. We know the feedback that our employees in our workforce give us. So we have all this rich information on what problems to solve, and our lens is how can skills help solve those problems.
That's awesome. I see we're almost at time, but if you zoom out on your personal journey, what's one lesson you'd share with the audience as you've done this work?
One of the biggest things I have had to kind of rethink is my approach to getting work done. I'm a career HR professional, and we usually get one shot. We have annual reviews or succession planning one time a year, or talent calibration, and that has this mindset of you work for a long time to build a one-size-fits-all model to implement something perfect. This work is more of a product mindset, where it is all about progress and not perfection. You build something, you get to an MVP, you get to a first version, you learn, you improve it, and then you go on to the next version.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the partnership, and I really look forward to doing more cool stuff together.
Thank you all.